Hi and welcome to the Empowered Lifestyle platform. My name is Kirsty and this video is all about follow-up. You might have heard that the fortune is in the follow-up, and there's a really good reason for that. Most people need between 7 and 14 exposures before they are ready to take action, and there's a number of reasons for that. Number one is that many of us are not at 12 o'clock when we hear this business, meaning that the timing might not be right for us. We've got distractions. We've just had a promotion. We've just had a baby. So the follow-up needs to perhaps happen over a period of time before that person is at the right time in their life. This is about looking for people who are looking for what we've got. It's sifting and sorting. It's not selling. So that's a really important concept. Also, some people are not ready because they're watching and they're waiting to see, are you really serious about this business? So when you follow up over a period of time, you're really building the trust that that person feels in your leadership, the fact that you're actually quite serious about this. So never underestimate the importance of follow-up. It's critical. So what we talk about in the business is having a pipeline. A pipeline is people that you've invited to look at the product, look at the business, and they're at varying degrees of deciding whether to do it or not, when to do it, what information they need before they are convinced that they should do it. So your pipeline needs to be at around sort of 20 people at any one time, meaning there's people in that space of thinking about it, and those are the ones that you're following up. Also, people that you're following up are the ones that have said, actually, it's a no, for now. But that no is not a no, and you're going to keep following up, you're going to keep dripping, you're going to keep chipping in, sharing your experience with them, chipping in and finding out if they've reached their goals yet. So this could happen over a period of months, years even. Some of the biggest leaders in our business were followed up over a period of years before they said yes. And they've jumped on board, they were at 12 o'clock and they're ready to go, and they've built enormous legacies. So let's look at some of the fundamentals of follow-up. You've got to do it every day. You've got to be consistent with follow-up. I find that we avoid follow-up because we're worried about the rejection. We're fearful that we won't be able to handle the questions. So you've just really got to get it in the right mindset. We are offering people a way out. You're offering people a way to change their life. You've got the gold. So being in that mindset, having a really strong belief, having a real clear vision of why you're doing this. And so coming from that mindset, this is not about you getting another customer or getting another sign up. This is about how can you help that person. So the first step with follow-up is being in that right mindset. Really important. The second thing is when we're doing a follow-up, we're really wanting to be tapping into why this person would even do it. So hopefully, if we've done a good job at the presenting stage, we've found out what this person's bucket list might be. What's their why? What's their pain? What are they looking for long term in their life? What's important to them? And these are all notes that I would write down in if I've got a filing system for follow-up, which is really important, either a card file or an Excel spreadsheet. I've been writing notes about that person. What is important to them in their life? Is it that they want to spend more time with their kids and they're really struggling to find a way to do that? Maybe they're looking for an early retirement and they're convinced that the vehicle they're in might get them there. So I've written all these notes down. And so when I go to follow up with that person, the first thing I'm going to do is come in the conversation about the benefits. John, it was so wonderful meeting you last month. I know the timing was wrong for the business. I just thought I'd check in, update you on what's happening. Things are exploding right now with Prism. I've been thinking about you all month, and I know one of the goals you had was to really create more quality time, particularly for your kids, and being able to go on holiday, pick them up from school. And I think that's wonderful, and it really touched me, that goal. I thought I'd just check in, as I said I would, update you on what's happening, and just see if you knew for sure that was possible to create a bit more time freedom so that you could spend time with your girls. Is that something you'd love to know more about? Is the timing any better right now? So this is another fundamental of follow-up, is asking the right questions. If you're just following up and saying, would you like to know more information? Or, I just thought I'd check in. You're missing the fundamental part, which is asking questions. Hey, John, have you found a way to get that time freedom yet? Hey, Sally, have you found a way to get that extra income so you can take the family on holiday yet? Hey, I just wondered if timing was any better, if, you're ready to take action on that bucket list you had of traveling the world with your husband. So asking the right questions and forcing them to really think about their why, to deepen into, what are they doing? What's the vehicle in their life that they're currently in? And is that going to get them there? So, those questions are really important. And talking about the benefits, one of the things that stops people taking action is they're too focused on the how. They're too caught up in the process. They doubt, can I even do this? So if you're talking about the benefits, if you're getting them remembering why they would even do this, what got them excited in the first place, and asking the right questions, picturing their future self, you've really got them in a great mindset where they're more open to hear what you've got to say. So another thing that I might say is, it's the timing is just great. I know the timing wasn't right for you a few months ago. We've got so many exciting things happening, and I was thinking about the goal that you had in your life of spending more time with your kids and traveling the world and, picking the kids up from school and doing that work in the community that you're so passionate about. I just thought I'd ask John, if you really knew for sure that was possible, would you take a second look at this and see why the timing is so great? It may be the right time, it may not be the right time, but I'd love to update you on what's happening. Or it might be, is there anything that would stop you? I know last month the timing was bad, but is there anything that would stop you getting started right now? I'd love to update you. Things are exploding. If you knew for sure that you could align with this and create that XYZ, is the timing any better for you right now? Another thing we do with follow-ups is we avoid asking for the close. We avoid saying, would you like to join me in the team now? Would you like to come on board and just try the products and just build up your belief? So don't be afraid of asking the questions, and don't be afraid of asking for the next step. Posture and confidence is really important. This is not about selling, it's about sifting. You are not a fortune teller. You don't know if the timing is right in that person's life, but what you do know, you have got something really valuable in your hands. And if you're not clear about, how big it is, where it's going, where you're going, why you're excited, and share that and continue to follow up with people, over a period of time, as long as, if they've said very clearly, this is a no, it's a never, then of course that's a clear message. But if you're asking permission to keep in touch with people, to keep following up, to keep them in the loop, then, have the courage to share what's happening, why you're excited, and ask them, is it better timing now? I'd love to have you on board, and, be cheeky as you build that relationship. You can ask, is what you're doing going to get you to that goal? So ask the questions, get them focused on the benefits, keep in touch, keep, focusing on dripping and adding and keeping in touch with people, building up the relationship. The fortune is in the follow-up. Do it consistently, and it will really pay dividends. Good luck.